Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com and welcome to episode 3 of 12 in my Christmas countdown series. Today I have a faux step fold card, so it folds over and adheres to the back of the card so you don't have to do any fussy cutting along here. So we'll be using the Kindest Gnomes stamp set again and the dies, and you will need the hat die, the beard, his little nose, and I've also cut extras for his arms or his hands, and then obviously his trousers. The other die set I'm using is the Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm using this medium stitch label die. I'm also using the Festive Pearls and the Snowflake Specialty Vellum papers. These come in 3 designs and there are 2 of each sheet in a 12 by 12 inch size. So that's that one. Then there's a snowflake one and a white snowflake flocked one. In my original card I cut 2 1-inch strips, but I decided that I didn't like the gap there, so I've cut it as a whole piece. So this measures 3 7/8 by 4 1/4. In metric that will be 10 centimeters by 11 centimeters. Then for the front portion, that measures 1 inch by 3 7/8 inches, so that's 2.5 by 10 centimeters. So for the card base, it's 4 1/8 by 11 1/2, so that's 10.5 by 29 centimeters. On the long side, you score at 4 1/2, 9, and 10 1/4. In metric, that will be 11.5, 23 centimeters and 26 centimeters. First I'm going to glue this piece in the middle panel, leaving an even border all round. I won't adhere this yet because you have to adhere it after you adhere this center panel, otherwise you will see the line there, the join there. For the faux step, this is in Coastal Cabana. It's 2 1/4 inches by 8 3/8 inches, so that's 6 centimeters by 21 centimeters long, and you score one end at 2 3/4 inches, which is 7 centimeters. So I'm going to bring this bit back and only put adhesive on the bottom, and I'm going to adhere this, make sure it's in the middle, so it's about there, and I want to adhere it so that it's 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. So I've adhered that to the center, so I want to put adhesive on there and then fold that down like so. Okay, then you have this center piece to go on there. So this piece in basic white measures 2 inches by 4 3/8 inches. In metric that will be 5 centimeters by 11 centimeters. Set that aside, and then for the inside of the card, which is here where you can write on, this piece measures 3 7/8 by 4 1/4, so that's 10 centimeters by 11 centimeters. So I'll glue that inside so I don't lose it. And make sure it hasn't been stamped on yet, so you just want to make sure there's an even border all round. Then you want the Wintry 3D embossing folder. There are 2 in the pack, and these are designed to go through the mini die cutting machine. So one is a pine needle one and this one is the snowflake, and we're going to be using the snowflake. For the inside of the card, I've stamped in Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and the other pens you need are Petal Pink, Poppy Parade combo, Grey Granite combo, and the Mango Melody combo, and Coastal Cabana ink. You also need a scrap of basic white to stamp your sentiment on. And you also need Coastal Cabana and Petal Pink scraps to die cut the nose and arms and the hat and trousers. The Snowfall Accents puff paint. I've done that on his beard. So first, let's emboss this piece for the background on the centre front panel, and I'll be back. Now we can adhere this piece onto the front of the card. Also glue the embossed piece at the same time. I'm going to stamp the little gnome holding the lantern on the inside of the card. And now I'm going to do a bit of colouring. There isn't a stamping blend for Coastal Cabana, so I'm going to have to use the ink pad and an acrylic block to pick up some ink and use that as my palette. I'll speed this up. I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Coastal Cabana, die cut that with the stylish label dies. Now I'm going to die cut my gnomes, so here are my gnome build dies: the beard, the hat, the trousers and the noses. Before I assemble it, I'm going to use the Snowfall Accents puff paint to just go over these wiggly lines to highlight the beard. Bring in the heat tool. I've clipped it to the board. Now I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue on the edge here to attach the hat. Put a dimensional on the back of one of the noses and stick it to his nose. Then I'm going to put glue on the back here to glue his trousers to. And probably a bit of glue on either side there so I can put his hands on. Stick that down with dimensional so it won't come off. And then adhere this to the card front. Last thing to do is put this label on. And remember to put it the right way up and center it on here. Then lastly, add one of the pearls. Bring in the festive pearls and put it in the middle of the snowflake. one on the label. I forgot to mention that if you want to put this snow puff paint on, do it before you glue the front basic white center panel onto the faux panel, because if you don't and you do it while it's stuck to the card, this is what will happen to your vellum paper. The heat will lift up the film with the silver foiling on the vellum, so that it seems to come in two separate pieces. So that's what will happen, so you want to avoid doing that. I think this was a nicer one, the one I first did, but standing up I didn't get as nice a result. Never mind. Well, that's the inside and that's the front. So I hope you have enjoyed episode 3 and pop back next week for episode 4. Thanks for watching, and as usual all the links to the supplies will be below this video in the show more section. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. Thanks for watching. Bye.